Pam Bondi has now begun transferring people whose death penalties were previously commuted under President Joe Biden to a Supermax prison in Colorado, seemingly specifically chosen because it's known for very harsh conditions. So they're not going to be allowed to have the federal government kill these inmates. So instead, they're just going to try to hurt them as much as possible, I guess. And she's very excited about this. She tweeted about it. I think there's an interesting bit of irony in her tweet. She said, Joe Biden's last minute commutations of death row prisoners are a stain on our justice system and a betrayal of the families of victims. I was honored to host some of those families here at the Justice Department in May. We have begun transferring the monsters Biden commuted to Supermax prisons, where they will spend the rest of their lives in conditions that match their egregious crimes. Because the issue is, it shouldn't just be prison. Prison's not enough. They should be in a prison where it's really bad and really sucky, and maybe they'll be assaulted or maybe they'll be sexually assaulted or something. Like, that's what our system needs. Because what Biden didn't understand is something that Pam Bondi does understand, which is you do not go easy on monsters. When people have committed the worst sorts of crimes, you don't just put them in a regular prison, you put them in Supermax. Unless they were sexual predators preying on children in service to economic elites, in which case, as long as they help to protect Donald Trump, even though they're a monster, the worst sort of monster actually, we send them to a little resort prison where they get to play with puppies and do yoga. I don't know, probably fresh fruit for breakfast. It's super nice, okay? Because we need her help, we need her cooperation, because she could make not only Donald Trump, but probably a lot of our donors, maybe some other people in the Trump administration look really bad. So screw that whole monster thing, screw that whole Colorado Supermax thing. We're just gonna let her go hang out at summer camp. And
John's talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. Continue.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I think you're talking.
Oh, you thought I was referencing something. I just didn't want
you to go the whole time without telling people that Trump is saying this and transferred Ghislaine Maxwell to a croquet themed prison.
Exactly. Yes, I hope that everyone watching, MAGA or otherwise, knows what I was referring to. And so, like, that should be the only response to this on social media, where she's like, oh, I'm gonna tweet, I'm gonna get some clout. You let a child rapist go and do crafts, maybe paint like a nice landscape or whatever, because she played ball. And you're like, no, we need to be tough on crime. Well, unless it's our class of criminal, I guess. What do you think, Brett?
Jesus was against the death penalty. That's really what it comes down to. I went to Catholic school and I was wondering what they would think, because there's a lot of like Old Testament-y, like kill a bunch of babies of your enemies type stuff floating out there. And I was wondering what Jesus would do if he was in charge of whether or not there was a death penalty. And they told me Jesus was against the death penalty. And the other thing is, like, were these folks at the Ramada before? It's just such a, like, I had no idea that this would, like, why are we talking about this? Why would they do this?
Yeah, they were on death row. I have a feeling it was rough already for them.
There's a lot wrong with the justice system, and I, along with anyone, will criticize the fake attempts at criminal justice reform executed by the left and the right. This is fake criminal justice reform by the right. Period. Also, like, if I want to play their game and I'm a Republican, I'll be like, why wouldn't you just overturn Trump's or Biden's commutation? The president's above the law. The president can do anything. Why not just kill the guys? This is the kind of weak on crime stuff that I'm talking about when it comes to Donald Trump. He's just as bad as Joe Biden, because in both cases, this scum is still walking the earth.
Yeah.
See how easy this is? And just
the game.
This is when the theme I want everyone to tap into when they're listening to folks do politics is, are they telling you what they actually think? Or are they trying to do something? Pam Bondi's trying to do something. Like, oh God, I moved him from prison to prison. Oh my God, you were in prison. Now you're in prison.
What she's trying to do.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, look, they're in a difficult position. They are bumbling their way through the most obvious cover up of elite sexual crimes in American history. And the president who's doing it is only not in prison right now because the Supreme Court decided he was above the law, despite committing all these felonies and sexual abuse and all that stuff. And so that makes them look like an administration of criminals and criminal accomplices, which they are. And so what if we take a person in prison and send them to prison? Are we tough now? Are we tough on crime?
And here's the
Super
thing:
last point. We gotta end.
the folks who are actually serious about reforming the justice system are on the side of victims. There's two types of victims: victims of crime. You don't want victims of crime for you to. It's tough to go up to them and be like, "I'm sorry that happened to you, but I don't care." And also victims of the system.
Yeah,
that's it. If you focus on people who've been done wrong, I think that is justice. And if you attack those issues with seriousness, then I don't think you can lose. But what ends up happening is in the justice system, there are those who don't give a crap if they're arresting too many people or rounding up family men at Home Depot because they think they're protecting victims of crime. No, you're creating victims of the system. And I think justice is blind in the cool scale sculptures, sexy little blind scale sculptures. I think it's blind for a reason, because we should be like, where is it going wrong here? Let's fix that aspect of it. And too often people are playing stupid games